now your host for Around Town, Jane Bouvier.
Hello again and welcome to Around Town. I'm delighted tonight to have on the host of Totally Well, is that right? Mm-hmm. Joyce Strong, who's done a show here and she's doing wonderful things in her private coaching. And welcome.
Thank you so much. I really
so good to meet you and see you.
Yes.
I've heard so much about you. And we are, by the way, waiting for, hopefully Dan Shaughnessy is going to call in. I haven't heard that he wasn't, but maybe he's not.
Well, we'll find out.
So, Totally Well. I'm going to let you talk about what that is and what you do.
So the Totally Well show is, it was my idea to put together, what I noticed, there are a lot of people in the greater health, fitness, wellness field that were like satellites. Mm-hmm. We're all out there, but we're not connected. We're not under the same roof. And we have a capacity to help each other and to also, by doing the show, it was a way for me to say, hey, here's this person who does massage or who does Reiki, or here's this person who's a fitness trainer or who knows something about dementia. So it was my way to just to share with the audience that there are a lot of alternative health modalities out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So are you putting that together in one place? Well, or are you just sending people different places?
So the Totally Well show is just about me having people come here.
Oh, I see.
And share an interview. So my practice is Total Well Coach, which is a separate entity. That's my private practice. And for that, I see people for coaching. I'm a nurse and a professional coach, and I see people around nutrition, chronic disease, diabetes, irritable bowel, food sensitivity, things like that, weight loss.
What's the most common thing that you see?
The most common thing people come to me for is probably weight loss or nutrition.
Yep.
Sometimes just nutrition and often something to do with chronic disease, diabetes, and those kinds of things. But it usually involves weight loss. And then from there, I like to take people where they're at and transition them to a wider approach, because I don't see a way to change. People know what to eat often. They can look it up just like I can now. And that information is so available, but we don't do it.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, I always say I fed my kids perfectly. They're all thin and gorgeous. And the minute they left, well, that's not true, but with every child that was born, I gained more weight and didn't lose it. So, but now I'm back to, I lost 132 pounds before one of my hip operation. And sitting home recently with this leg thing that I have, I've gained it all back because I wasn't exercising. And I said I'd never gain another pound back. It's very frustrating.
It is, and that's what I see my role as often is partly, at least for the time being, or sometimes longer term, being an accountability partner, a motivator, or if I'm seeing somebody for a shorter time, like sometimes I'll see people month to month or over time, I launch them as part of their plan. They need to build that accountability around them, so that because we're human,
right?
And if we start to slip, and it's easy to, one day leads to another, to have people in their community to say, hey, Jane, we're going out. We're not staying home, sitting on the couch. And so that's what I would do with you, is say we have to make sure beyond me, I'm on your team, but I'm just one player.
So accountability, you would have people call you and check in?
Yeah. You can. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but one way is people text me these days. They see me every week. They come in and see me every week. Sometimes I'll reach out to them. Some of my clients work out with me at the gym. I'll go to Orange Theory, or if I also play hockey, as you know, so I could. Lots of different ways I'd connect.
I was going to save the hockey thing for Dan, but I want to go into that for a minute. You're a hockey coach.
I am, yeah. I started. I have 5 kids.
Yeah.
And they were all skating. I held them up, but I wasn't skating. And at one point, and it was around my 50th birthday, and around the time I got breast cancer, that I just got this urge to maybe I lost the fear.
Yeah.
I just got this sense of, I must know how to do this. My children can do it, because I didn't know I could.
Sure. Yeah.
And I just went out and tried and practiced, and then I realized I'm a very good skater.
Uh-huh.
So once I practiced and got it, and then I went on to wanting to coach. But these were things beyond my conscious at
Sure.
first.
Did your kids play hockey?
Yeah,
All
they
of-
did. They all did. Yeah.
Oh.
My daughter played on the boys' varsity team in Groton.
No kidding.
Groton Dunstable. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see those sticks and I'm like, oh my God, I think they're so dangerous.
I think lacrosse is a more
that
dangerous
is too.
sport
I've got a
because
grandson, two
you have a lot of
grandsons.
equipment on in hockey. It
Yeah.
sounds pretty crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, it can be dangerous,
Yeah.
but you're very well protected with that gear.
Yeah. So how often do you do the hockey thing?
Well, now I've been doing more coaching, and so I coach with my granddaughter. So a couple times over the winter, it was Saturday and Sunday mornings up at Skate 3. We take them
yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
I call it my second line now
Yeah.
because I'm on the grandkids.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
brother.
And
Yeah.
it's so fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
And it's motivation, right, for us to stay active.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
at my age now, I'll be 66 this month. So
And you look great. And you have two kids at home?
I have two at home, a 21 and 24-year-old
Wow.
still. Yeah.
Well, mine got out. School was over, college was over, and see ya. Bye, Mom.
Yeah.
And then I fell apart. So
Yeah.
But-
Well, we have to fill
Yeah.
that space now
Yeah.
with purpose
Right.
and another way for you to fulfill your
Right.
potential.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when you as a nurse, what did you do? Where did you were you a nurse?
I worked for a short time. I worked in telemetry units, so cardiac, around
Oh.
cardiac, and that was my interest at the time. But then I started having kids, and I founded a medical transcription company, and so I ended up doing that, which eventually I could do at home, and it was making me a lot more money than nursing.
What do you do with that's when you
You listen to tapes of doctors talking about reports and transcribe them.
Oh,
So it was a very boring job. I learned to spell, though. I got to be a really good speller. It's another thing I didn't know I could do.
wow.
And with practice, you can do anything. And so, but it was making me good money. I just hated it.
Yeah.
And I finally found a way to emancipate myself from that and get
Yeah.
back to patient care because I miss the direct.
hands-on,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I need, it was a skill that I hadn't really developed because when you're sitting for 25 years behind a computer,
Right.
not talking to people, you don't practice that skill.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and you were how old when you became a nurse?
I went back to school, let's see, I was around 30.
So you
No,
left
32.
you finished college and then you went back.
I went to Tufts, graduated from Tufts, and then when I had my first child, Casey, who played hockey here, and was pregnant with my second child, I went back to Simmons and got my nursing degree.
Great.
Yeah,
Well, you're a jack of all trades. That's wonderful that you can
Thank
do all
you.
of that.
thanks.
If you could drop everything, what would you do? Just do one thing.
If I could drop everything and just do one thing.
You must like the coaching.
I really like the coaching.
Not
yeah.
the hockey coaching, but I mean the
I like both.
Both.
I like teaching hockey. I don't like coaching on the bench so much because that's another whole skill
Yeah.
set of dealing with parents and things that is too controversial for me. I like the actual mechanics of teaching how to skate. But I think I would do the lifestyle coaching, the life coaching, where it's involving teaching people how to build habits, mindset shifts, overcoming limiting beliefs. Because I know a lot about it. I've done it myself. I do it as a practice for myself every day.
what is that exactly?
Overcoming limiting beliefs. Well, we all have a story we tell ourselves. Do you ever listen to Brene Brown? She talks about these kinds of things.
No.
But she's got some popular books out. But basically, we grow up and we get an idea in our head, like girls don't play hockey, and
Right.
whatever it could be anything. And I sent my boy to hockey school. I sent my daughter to camp where she did GIMP and arts and crafts and things like that. And one day, my ex-husband took her to public skating, and came back and said, "We have the wrong kid in hockey."
Oh.
And they ended up both being good players, but she's the one that's in the Hall of Fame at RIT.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So I had to change my belief about
Yeah,
that, and then I
yeah.
had to change my belief about that I couldn't play because I was too old, and other things to do like with how you handle your money, or I always fail on diets because I always did. Well, that doesn't mean you're going to fail going forward,
Right.
but something's got to change in your belief system.
Well, it's interesting. I wanted to do, I never really do a diet, although I did do Weight Watchers briefly, but the keto diet, I said, oh no, that's just too structured. I don't think I can do it. And I was watching PBS the other night, and the guy was on there who wrote a book about it. And they were talking about, and then I read an article in Oprah or someplace about how this woman did it and how she felt the same way and she didn't think she could do it. But then she fixed it so she could do it. And I thought, well, gee, I could do that, whatever she was talking about. And I thought, but then if you miss a day or 2 days, you have to start all over again because it throws you off.
So there are a lot of philosophies. Keto is sort of a generic word. And
It's like Atkins, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be like Atkins, but it's just a generic word. So what I do, I don't put people on diets. I help people. I personalize the plan depending on what their goals are. So I don't like to even call it diet as a verb. It's diet as a noun. I is what I eat. And then depending on what you want to do, we work on when we eat, what we eat, how we eat. How the food's prepared. So a lot of things go into it.
Yeah.
We definitely know getting away from processed food is a really good idea, and lowering carbs is a good idea. Keto is very low carb to get your body to burn fat. But the idea that you always have to be in keto, I mean, technically, if you're trying to drop 5 pounds a week, but we don't need to do that.
Right.
If we're working in the right direction and we have satiety and we're getting the nutrients we need and our body is healing, we don't have to be in a race. So that's why I try to talk people out of being obsessed with the scale and being obsessed with that number and being more obsessed with, did you start to build a habit today that's going to support your lifelong, who that person is, that so you get the image first, the vision, and then you reverse engineer all the steps that we need to do to get to that vision. So I'm a healthy person with a great diet. What do? I make sure I shop every week. I have some protein in my refrigerator, healthy fats and vegetables. I always have a few frozen vegetables in case something goes bad or I can't get out, right? And my backup plans. And I have water to drink. I get up in the morning. I drink a certain amount of water every day, and certain times a day, little triggers I need to help me remember. So all those little baby steps.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I don't do well is make my shopping list the way, every week the same kind of thing. I all over the place with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's not good. I have to fix that.
It can help if you have a routine, like with anything else. If you look at an area of your life where you do things well, like when we came in today to the show, I could tell you had your drill down. Like you knew how much time everything took. For me to do what you did before the show, I would be so nervous. But you had a habit and a routine. So that's all it is. It's nothing that you don't already know how to do.
Right.
One of the big things that I do with people is see them as not broken. Like you're an intelligent, competent adult who can do all of these things, and you're not broken. And how can I ask you questions in a way to help you solve your problems, solve your, the things that you want to change.
Right. Who have you had on the show? Your show?
Oh gosh, I
we've got flyers
done,
here. So I want to talk about this for a minute.
Yeah, we've done about 40 shows. So
You've done 40 shows?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've had. I had a couple of clients last week who came and talked about their experience. I've had people that do, actually 3 clients, another one that does energy healing and works with stones. I've had other energy healers, acupuncturists.
Oh, yeah, yep.
I've had a dementia expert, dementia behavior expert.
Scary, scary, scary stuff. I'm scared to death of dementia.
Yeah. Alzheimer's.
What's the difference?
I don't know that I could give a good definition. The dementia and Alzheimer's are not. One is like the overall encompassing dementia and Alzheimer's. I think is part of that.
Okay.
But and then there are different types of brain disease.
Scares me so much.
So saying that it should be a good motivator because our brain is part of our body and is affected by our activity, very much by our activity level, and very much by what we eat. So it's a huge motivator for me when I say I don't eat grains, I don't eat sugar, very little of those things.
Grains?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
What?
Well, grains can be inflammatory, and so it depends on the person. There's, very individual, but they're also very high in sugar as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you figure out what things actually break down to sugar and affect the way your body's able to metabolize sugar, once it's broken down, it's sugar is sugar is sugar. There's no
Wow.
magic sugar. There's no special healthy sugar.
So how do you eat? What's your...
I generally eat a protein about the size of the palm of my hand. If I'm more hungry, I might eat a little bit more. So 3 times a day, or maybe 2 eggs, and then chicken, beef, pork, fish. I kind of have my preferences.
So you do eat meat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Healthy meat. I
Yeah.
look for healthy, organic, grass-fed,
Right.
so that's cleaner, because
Yep.
the fat of the animal is what stores toxins. And then I'll eat vegetables, so I tend to lean towards the leafy greens and the cruciferous, like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, peppers, onions, things
Right.
like that. And I don't as often or as much have the root veggies, because those are the sugar plants. So sweet potato, I'll have them and I love them, but I don't have them in much big portion and not every day. And then healthy fats like avocado, olive oil.
I love avocado.
Yeah.
I'd eat them all day long if I could.
But I avoid grains. I don't eat pizza anymore or bread generally, and I avoid dairy, although I love cheese and I could live on dairy.
I was just going to say, can you have cheese?
Yeah, I avoid it, but I do have it
Love
from time
cheese.
to time.
Yeah.
But it can be inflammatory for sure, and it's also got sugar, and it's also very high in calorie. So at my size, I'm only 5'2",
Right.
and at my age, I'm like a Prius. I
Yeah.
don't need a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
And depending on how much you exercise, too.
Yeah. What do you do if you I never had a sweet tooth before, but all of a sudden in the last couple of years, I find this need, like at 11 o'clock at night, to eat something sweet. What are your substitutions for sweet?
I help you wean off of that, because you don't really need a substitution, but your body is telling you something. It's a clue. So you have to say, why am I hungry? Why am I wanting sweet? You're probably stressed, tired. Your body's been stressed with the things you've been through. You may have had sweets earlier in the day that caused your blood sugar to go up. Your insulin, a hormone, goes up, and then your blood sugar goes down, which says it's time to eat again. So you get on this roller coaster of insulin, and so we need to tame the sugar dragon. So that's why spreading your meals out, eating a substantial meal with a gap in between. So we wean you off of that. And sometimes it takes a while, because you can have hypoglycemic reaction, and you really do need to eat and help your body get used to it, because you develop an insulin resistance. But it also could be the other things, sleep and stress and exercise. And so sometimes you have to that's why you have to read the person and really see what they need to customize it.
I've been sleeping in this recliner, so it broke. So now the feet don't go up and the back doesn't go down. So I've been sleeping sitting up for 3 nights, and I'm like sleeping 3 hours, 4 hours a night, which I can't. It just doesn't work for me.
Right, and then you need that special REM sleep to really get your brain to do the cleaning out it does at night. So we have to fix that so that you're sleeping.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, your brain does a whole recycling, cleaning out. Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
While you're sleeping?
Yep. Yeah. It's very critical, very critical.
I know it is.
There are some practitioners I hear say not getting your sleep is more deadly than not eating. That it's really, really important.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we're fixing that.
Good.
Tell me what's on these flyers.
So I founded the Confident Women Consortium, and my goal there was to help women build confidence or people, not just women, through community and celebration. So again, bringing people under one roof to get together, to meet each other. So I needed to develop confidence. I didn't feel confident enough, and I wanted to be around people like you and say, being around you is going to make me feel, I'm going to look to see how you act, and you'll be a model for me or a mentor for me, and I may be that for someone else. And if we all get together without any big commitment, just we'll listen to a motivational speaker, have a meal together, and say goodbye till next time. And I've done, I think about 8 of them now.
Oh, good.
So since September.
All at the inn?
Great.
Great.
They've all been at the Groton Inn.
Wonderful.
So this month I have Shauna Pelton, who is a transformational speaker and a super warm
What does that mean?
And she helps people, kind of in the coaching realm we were talking about earlier, where she helps people overcome limiting beliefs and make lifestyle changes that will, more mental changes, not just the mechanics of the lifestyle, so that they can be that person they want to be. And she does courses in one-on-one coaching. And then in July, I have these two 30-year-old gentlemen coming in who are podcasters. They have a podcast called...
Who are very, very attractive.
They're very cute, yeah.
Can we hold these up? I want to hold these up, guys.
They've been on my show, by the way. You can see them on my show.
Close up on these guys. Well, never mind. They're playing checkers or something. So they haven't come in yet?
They've come into my show.
Oh, they've
been on the show. I think it's already aired. It's on demand. But they do a podcast called Hyper.
The two of them together?
Yeah, Hyper Conscious Podcast. Kevin Palmieri and Alan Lazarus, and they're both coaches, fitness coaches. But these guys are not like any of the guys we've met, like that we grew up with.
Yeah.
They're like from the moon. They talk about feelings.
Oh.
They talk about their personal development, but they're just. I was so impressed when I met them. I was like, how do you, you're like my kid's age.
Yep.
How do you know so much? And so they both, one of them, Kevin shared with me that he had been suicidal. Alan shared with me that he had been an alcoholic, and they were both really not taking care of themselves. And they just made this decision to change their lives, and I think they're going to be famous with their podcast.
How old are they?
They're 30.
Wow.
So they're going to speak at Confident Women. So I'm going to see. That's the first time I've had men come in.
Now I would like to see that. Did they get together because they knew each other for years, or
I think Kevin. I think they each had their own podcast, and they realized together that they had something special because they have a real good. They Alan comes at it more from the physical, although they're both studs, right? And Kevin is more into the talking about the feelings, but they're just playful and fun, and they're super smart.
No kidding.
Kevin never went to college. Alan went to WPI, so they're both brilliant. And
so they got together, one being an alcoholic, one being suicidal, and they just happened to get together.
I'm not sure at what point. I don't know them that well yet to know. Yeah, listen to their podcast because it's brilliant.
What's the name of it?
It's on the Totally Well show, but their podcast is the Hyper Conscious podcast.
Hyper Conscious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so is this the one that's coming up?
That one is in July 25th, and we have an early bird special on the tickets. And so Shauna's is June 26th. It's a Wednesday, and this one is a Thursday in July 25th.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's exciting, and they're doing well. Repeat people coming?
Repeat people are coming, but also always new people. What tends to happen, too, is they'll bring their tribe, their own tribe, so then some of my tribe and some of their tribe meets. And it's hit or miss, too, because people might be on vacation, a kid might have a conflict, but I think it's going well. We've had a minimum of about 10 guests and a maximum of about 25.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So I'd like it to be a little bigger in some ways, but recently I was working with a coach who told me that, do you want to be Super Soul Sunday or TED Talk? So there's something special about a small, intimate mastermind group.
What room are they putting you in?
I've been in Prescott. These, I think, will be in Revere.
Okay.
But they've all mostly been in Prescott.
Well, it's nice for people to go to the inn also.
Yeah.
It's like, this is great.
Yeah.
You can sit outside now, too.
I know, this summertime.
But that's fantastic. I'm glad that you're going there. They want to do a show, but they want me to bring everybody there, and I think it's too much. So I'm going to see if I can't get them here. We did one show there.
With the Grattan Inn?
Yeah, but we were sitting downstairs, and we didn't have a background. There was no reason for us to be there,
Yeah.
But if we can, I'll talk to them and see if we can.
Who will come here from?
Well, Ashley comes and, they bring the cameras, and it's they have to lug the stuff up. So
no, but who at the inn will you talk with?
Oh, well, I was talking to Waddy, who's not there now, so I guess it's
he left.
Holly, or there's Trish.
Yes, I usually deal with Holly is my next door neighbor, Holly Varney, and then Stephanie I usually talk with.
We are out of time,
okay,
which is amazing. Dan Shaughnessy, I have to find out why you didn't call us, but that's all right. He's always done it before, so I'm not worried that he's mad at us or anything, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I was looking forward to wishing him a happy birthday.
I know. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry that we didn't get to talk to him. Next week we have Chief Mike Luth, our new police chief, will be on. Looking forward to. He's been on once before, but he's got the whole show this week, so coming up. So that'll be interesting. And one more time, the next one is the 26th of June.
The Confident Women Consortium is the 26th of June on a Wednesday night at the Groton Inn, and that's Shauna Pelton.
And they make reservations on your
Yep,
website.
they can go to totalwellcoach.com/events and buy tickets there. It's on Eventbrite, so if you just look up Confident Women Consortium, you can find it.
And also your shows are on, you can go on to thegrotonchannel.org and see when your shows are on.
They're totally well.
See the shows, see my show, and everybody else. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So nice to meet you. And you'll come back.
I would love to. Yeah, I'll come back anytime.
Excellent. Thanks for being with us, and hopefully there'll be sun tomorrow. And I'm not going to mention the Bruins. I did mention the Bruins, but I shouldn't because I'm sorry for Ashley, who loves them so much. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you around town.